If you want to get some information about the Xbox Ally X, I'd recommend that you go watch reviews or impressions from those who've gotten a hold of the device. Nib95 quotes a tweet from James ACT where he clips a video footage from Moore's Law is Dead talking about Xbox's compatibility plans with the Xbox Ally X. Already, as I listen to this 2-minute clip, I already see that there are some discrepancies, especially when you compare it to those who got a taste of the device, for instance, Linus Tech Tips and the others. So what we're going to do is we're going to see what all is going on right now, because it's very easy for a lot of people to misconstrue things. There's already conversations on whether it's an Xbox or not, whether it's a console or not. We've seen the Rogue Ally and the Rogue Ally X. It is a console. We've seen that it has an Xbox design, an Xbox, button. It has a new Windows operating system framework, or I guess I'll say UI, that's attached for gaming. It is an Xbox, right? But this question comes to mind, and it's from a developer side. And even the developers can watch this Linus Tech's presentation and get all the information they need, but let's look and see where the concern is coming from. Because I want to buy this device, and I want to know what's about this device. So this is great news as a Series X owner, as it means support for ROG Xbox Ally, at least for now, will not be mandated by Xbox as part of certification. What? This was not, something that we didn't know. In fact, it literally said in this particular video. I'm going to click the timestamp. I made the timestamp, so listen for yourself.
With such different hardware across the product family, how is Xbox going to manage gamers' expectations and work with publishers to optimize the experience? The answer to this is a little complex, but it is worth hearing because it gives us tremendous insight into Microsoft's vision for this device and for Xbox more broadly. Like Valve, Microsoft is working on a verified program of sorts. But unlike Valve, Microsoft obviously won't have just one piece of hardware to target, meaning I wouldn't expect to see an Xbox Ally setting in the graphics quality drop down anytime soon. So what are they going to be doing then? Well, for one thing, they're going to be validating the usability elements, just like Valve does. Does the game support a controller? Does text scale correctly on smaller, higher DPI displays? As for the performance side, well, the strategy is going to involve using Windows telemetry data, including specs of your machine, the game you're playing, and gaming frame rates, to group similar systems together to give gamers a rough idea of which titles will perform well. All of this.
So, you heard it for yourself. This is exactly how they're going to go ahead and handle all of this. So, I don't know why Nib95 thinks that this is something new. Maybe this is the first time that he's finding out about it, but if you were looking at the device and paying attention, because I even had to put this video in front of some Xbox users who were like, I don't know what this device is. I feel like this device has some issues here and there. And once they watched this video, they were like, oh, this guy actually explained everything. I know. Now, he said that would have made the hardware baseline even lower than Series S. Internally, they're treating it like any other PC handheld. Of course, because it is a console handheld PC. Now, why would he say this, and what is Jamie's ATC saying? Jamie's ACT says Moore's Law is dead, explains what's going on behind the scenes on Xbox compatibility plans, and then says Steam wins big time. Hold on, Jamie's ACT. Don't take the win away from the Xbox gamers. We of the PC Master Race declare them winners just by them coming and being inducted into the PC Master Race. Let me listen to what Moore's Law says.
Now, what I will now say, though, is without showing the screenshots, I have a dev asking, I saw in screenshots, I should say, a dev asking Xbox for clarification on if there will be Xbox Ally X dev kits and also what they need to know about compatibility. And then the Xbox Outreach customer service person in this behind the scenes forum responded with these quotes. I'm quoting directly here, even if I'm not showing it.
Please note that if the Xbox, user research team or outreach team watches this video, they will probably know who was the developer that was asking them the question. He may have just inadvertently, you know what? That's his business.
First quote. For the submission process, there are no changes planned at this point for the Xbox Ally X, by the way, since it is a PC device. There's a direct quote. They directly just call it a PC. They do not say it is an Xbox behind the scenes.
It is an Xbox. Now, I think this is where Moore's Law is dead is going to get himself all twisted in the weeds. It's the same thing all these people are saying, right? Oh, it's not an Xbox because it's a PC because it is an Xbox handheld console PC, as the Asus Ally X and Asus ROG Ally itself are PC handheld consoles by Asus. This device is an Xbox. It's not an Xbox Series SX. It's not an Xbox One, One S, One X. It's not an Xbox 360, but it is an Xbox Ally X. And I think this little distinctive is where a lot of these people want to hang their credibility. You're about to basically have the thing implode. Just keep talking. Let's listen, though.
Second quote, I am not aware of any test device that will be available. No dev kits. Third,
don't need them.
Quote, for older UWP projects, I'll need to confirm. And long story short, without showing or reading paragraphs of info, this is someone at Microsoft, and I asked a developer contact of mine if I'm interpreting this correctly, and the person told me I am.
Okay.
Yet this to me suggests that with people at Xbox not bothering with dev kits or porting help for pre-Series S or Series X games, and then multiple devs also telling me that Xbox would breach contracts and open legal attacks up to themselves if they had an emulator on PC. And behind the scenes, Xbox is directly calling the Ally X a PC. They are not calling it an Xbox. They're saying, you don't need a dev kit. You don't need any of this. It's a PC. Don't.
Is this the guy that brought Mark Cerny out of his vacation to come do a Flopflation talk? Who was it? On whose behalf did Cerny have to be interrupted? What's funny is, if a developer is interested in ensuring that the Xbox Ally X has access to their game, they can simply just make an Xbox's PC Store version of the game. I play, I'm right now on my ROG Ally X. I'm playing State of Decay 2, and I'm playing it via Xbox. In fact, I bought it. I was like, I just liked the way the game kind of started. The game did not presume to want to wow me by big graphics and stuff. It just wanted to basically get me into the gameplay. I was happy. I like it when I can play a game once I fire the game up. And I saw it. It was $7 on sale. I just said, nah, I'm copying this thing. It respected my time, right? So this is already a pipeline for them to get their game in there. And if you listen very carefully to what Linus Tech said, he said they're going to use Windows telemetry data based on the hardware, which the hardware is known. And I'm going to play you the specs of the device where devs can go look at the specs. They can curate machines. Developers can put together machines that would perform and behave like the handheld. The Turk does it for fun. Like, the Turk is in between dinner and dessert, and he can put together his own console to match many of the hardware devices out here. So listen for yourself.
Xbox Ally X features a cutting-edge AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor with 3 Zen 5 and 5 Zen 5C cores, 24 gigs of lightning-fast 8,000 megatransfers per second LPDDR5X memory, a terabyte of storage, and a whopping 80-watt-hour battery. The Xbox Ally Non-X does not have all of those things.
So you're already aware as to what the hardware is. Now, as to dev kits, I can understand why that developer is looking to try to get dev kits, but you could just buy the device if you really wanted to test builds of your game on there. I mean, your build is going to be a Windows build. You can test it to see and do your optimization. In fact, many of you may or may not know this. The reason I bought a Steam Deck is because I didn't know that there was actually a Steam dev kit application process. I bought a Steam Deck because I watched a YouTube video that was showing, and I wanted to know actually, and I found a YouTube video where this gentleman in 3 minutes explains how you can create a build of your game package and export that game package and use the Steam Dev Kit client to go ahead and run that game on your Steam Deck to kind of, get some, details and such. So once I finished watching the video, immediately I downloaded the Steam Developer OS, the Steam OS Developer Client Kit, so that once I have a small build of my game and I want to start doing some, benchmarks, it's not optimization per se, but trying to see how the game will run, because I would love, hopefully, God willing, we get to the point where we have, something that's a prototype. I would love for it at every point in time for us to benchmark it against hardware that has, portability. So that's why I went ahead and got the Steam Deck. So a developer who's interested and sincerely, genuinely curious can also have access to this by just getting the device or getting a device like the Xbox, like the Rogue Ally or Rogue Ally X, and optimizing their game for it and getting a sense of how their game is going to run. This is not supposed to be rocket science in this particular regard. As Moore's Law is dead, the guy is basically seemingly yelling this thing. It's not an Xbox, and no support.
Don't worry, it's just running Windows. I have
Bro, it's running, like we all know it's running Windows. Like what?
to take all of this together and warn Xbox users that unfortunately, if you want your games that aren't Play Anywhere to work on future Xbox consoles, the safest bet is to apparently buy them on Steam, like Colin and I were just suggesting in our conversation. Now, behind the scenes, Microsoft seems to frankly be very aloof and uncaring about what the hell happens to their Xbox fans.
That is not true. That is absolutely not true. Again, I will now play you compatibility that was discussed in this exact same video. Guys, this is 13 minutes for someone who will sit down and make a lot of, comments on something. Why not just inform yourself? Listen to what Linus Tech says about how they're going to go ahead and deal with compatibility.
It's KCD comic in my mind's eye. But this implementation looks like one that I might actually...
hold on.
Idea here was to bring...
Hold on.
Idea here was to bring all your games together. Idea here. Are they going to be more Windows-like?
I think I'm a little bit behind or something. Anyways, here.
The constant interruptions and the background resource hogging and the flavin'. Or are they going to be more Xbox-like? TBD. Okay, let's come back to the game library now. The idea here was to bring all your games together in one place. And I know, I can already see the XKCD comic in my mind's eye. But this implementation looks like one that I might actually want to use, bringing together your Windows games, your Game Pass games, your cloud-streamed games, and even remote play from your Xbox console, allowing you to quickly and easily synchronize your progress and achievements and your recently played titles so you can just grab and go and game.
Are y'all hearing that? The PlayStation Portal, that's all it does. It streams your games remotely, and I think they added the cloud functionality. The Xbox Ally X is coming with both of those functionality as a means to get you to still be able to access your games that you already bought via the Xbox store. So if you don't like that proposition, then you back away. For this guy to make it seem like, they don't care or whatever, when that's exactly the only thing that PlayStation did for its handheld, is wild to me. So the remaining piece of this hardware is going to basically give you that proposition of what the regular Rogue Ally X gives you, which is access to different storefronts, including your Play Anywhere library that you can play locally on the device. All this information is here. I find it really strange, though. You know what? Let me finish listening to this clip.
And just kind of crossing their fingers, and hoping they all migrate on Game Pass to PC.
Look at this. Here we go again with this. They want everybody to migrate to Game Pass on PC talk. If they wanted you all to migrate to Game Pass on PC, why are they taking all of these steps to go ahead and recreate a Windows UI? Because they already know that experience is something gamers want. And then why are they also taking steps to make the traditional console, box in your living room? As Lisa Su cited Sarah Bond saying, you're trying to call Sarah Bond and Lisa Su on all these people involved. You're trying to discredit them, but it's not possible because I think it was you. Maybe it wasn't you, but the people who have tried this with the engineering teams and the executives, they pulled Cerny out of retirement. I say retirement. They pulled Cerny out of a vacation. He seemed like he just basically got flown in from like some beach somewhere to come do that talk where he talked about flopflation. So this is a very, very inaccurate caricature that's being painted here when a month ago, we already had all the information.
And just buy it on Steam otherwise. And they don't care what happens to this catalog of games over the next decade as they stop making true consoles and just make PCs they call Xboxes. So
Wow, look at this hogwash. Look at least somebody knows. Isn't this the same guy that's been wrong more than he's been right about when it comes to console hardware? Even if we just judge the video based on what was said about this hardware piece, and we've not seen the next set of consoles coming, right? We don't even know what's really going to be on them. We just know what the features they're going to have. We already know what the Xbox Ally X is going to have on there. And here we are. Here we are with all of this talk, and people are over here, jumping all over it. And it's just sad. That's why I decided to take time to make this video. On any other day, I'd have just dismissed it and be like, here we go again with something that is here and designed to misinform people. They just want to cross their fingers and they just don't care about this library of games for the next decade. Does PlayStation care about the next library of games for the next decade as much as Xbox does? Xbox gamers, I had to understand your perspective when you were asking about your library. And your perspective is one from, a body of gamers that's been spoiled in a good way, because they respect your library on this ecosystem compared to, anywhere else that you could demand something like that. And Microsoft could say, hey, man, even though we may not be able to give that to you in this, first iteration of our handheld, we're going to give you access as you've, usually had as a part of it. And for our consoles, as announced by Sarah Bond, we're going to ensure that that's something that we make sure that we give to you. So if it's either you're going to go ahead and listen to people who've actually gotten a hold of the device, right? Who've used the device, who know about the features of the device, who are making the device, and you can even wait for reviews to see if everything that Linus has said is actually going to line up, or you listen to somebody online that has basically pretty much exposed the developer who gave them inside information because of a lack of discretion and probably a burning desire to make this device seem like it's not anything worth your time. It's your choice. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate y'all so much. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.